Hey guys, it's your friend John here. Today we're going to be making, or should I say, finishing a spear sword, or a Japanese spear sword, or apocalyptic spear sword, or a naginata. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. Please don't go after me for mispronouncing it. But to be fair, I mispronounce a lot of English words, so but we're going to be finishing it. I started this project before I started my YouTube channel, but that's okay. I'm going to give you step-by-step directions that are very easy to follow on how to make it and finish it. So all you need is a pole. You can use a broom handle. I recommend a thick broom handle. This is about 1 inch thick, I believe. So get something thicker for strength. Then you're going to need a sword, which you can very easily get on eBay. Don't get a sword that's too long. Get a sword that is 27 inches or shorter, because if it's too long, they're going to have a really long weapon. It's up to you if you want it to be shorter or longer, but this is 27 inches. And your pole or handle, whatever we want to call it, it can be, well, any length that you think is appropriate. This is about 3 feet long. For you, it can be longer or shorter. I like 3 feet. I think it's pretty good of a size. So all you really need is a pole, a sword, some screws, and later on I'm going to add some leather gripping for my hand. Anytime you work with a long sharp sword with a point, make sure you cover the point with tape or cardboard or plastic, just so you don't get stabbed. So make sure you always cover your point. So step 1, drill yourself 3 nice holes that closely match the screw that you'll be adding in. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your sword, make sure it has 3 holes in it. 2 holes is okay, but if it has 1 hole here or here, I know some of these swords have 1 hole in them. Don't use a 1-hole sword. Use a sword that has 2 holes or 3 holes. And basically just put it right on the wood like that, and you draw 3 little pencil marks or marker marks, whatever you want to use, and then you drill your holes for your screws. So first, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut it down the middle. You're going to want to cut right down the middle so your sword can slide in very easily. So basically, you put it in a vise and clamp it in, and you take a handsaw or an electric saw and you just start cutting down the middle till, well, you reach up to this point where it would be in the wood fully. Once you cut down the middle and drill your 3 holes, you put your sword handle in. Just slide it right in. Alright, it's in. It can be a little tricky to line up these holes with the holes in the sword, but just make sure that it does line up. To help make sure that it's lined up, say it's not lined up, take a skinny long nail and poke it in and just hit the holes and kind of just align the handle a little. Yeah, you can see I'm moving it just a little bit. After you get it in, you're going to want to put your 3 screws in, and you can use glue to make sure that it's really secure in there. Now we're going to add our screws once we got it lined up. But first, pour the glue in. Let the glue set to the bottom as far as it can. Don't just do it right away. Once your glue is all in the holes, I put 3 pins just to hold it so I don't lose the place where the holes line up. And now I'm going to put it in a vise so when I add the screws, it'll be nice and pressurized, because you can see there's a big gap there, and I'm going to try to close that gap with the vise while I put the screws in. So it's in the vise where it's nice and tight. I did have to take 1 pin out just so I can get more in there because the nail was in the way, but that's okay. We still have 2 spots, so I'm going to start putting in these screws now. So you take the pin out, pull the pin like you would on a grenade, and you just put your screw in. Pull the next pin. put the screw in. So we got our 2 screws in. Now we just gotta loosen up the vise and do the last screw. Just be careful, you don't want the sword to swing and hit you. And you move it down, and then you reclose it. And put the last screw in. So my next step is I have the entire thing in a vise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour glue in this opening here just so it's more secured and shut, because the screws are going to help, but I want to make sure it never opens again. So you take your glue and you pour it into this opening. Really push the glue down in there. To help clean up this glue, take a rag and just clean it up a little. You don't want the glue to sit and dry on the pole while it's all over the place. Get it and clean it while it's still wet, or you'll end up in a sticky situation. So right here I got a pretty big gap where the glue's just pouring out. If you have a big gap like that, to fix it, just shove some toothpicks or some wood in there to stop it from pouring. And it'll also add a little more strength. One. And you can see what I mean. It's just pouring out. Just get some of that in there. Wedge it in. And that will kind of be a gap filler with those 2 toothpicks in there. So once the glue is all dry in this crack, you can loosen the grip on the vise. But just make sure it's nice and tight when you put it in that vise so it squeezes it together. So it has good pressure, so it's not loose. As you can see, it's tight in there. So after you get it out of the vise, I have these exposed screws, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in them just so the screws don't get loose or come out. So I'm going to put some glue right on the top. There's one. There's two. And there's three. And what that glue will do is it will just secure the screws in there a little bit more. It won't do that much, but it will make it look a little bit nicer. The final step is you're going to add a grip. As you can see here, I add a leather grip, and I screwed it there, and I put a screw there to hold it in, and I got one here. I'm going to do the final grip right here on this end piece, and I'm going to show you how. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get yourself some leather wrapping, or you can use cord wrapping. The option is yours. And you're going to want to get it so it gets really annoying. And I'm not going to use the shiny side. I'm going to use the dull side because it has more texture to it, and that texture will help more with gripping. So I'm going to take it and... Alright. As you can see, I got it wrapped like that. Get it under like that, just like that, and you pull tight. Pull it nice and tight, and you just start spinning. Make sure it's nice and tight. Ah, God damn it. Okay. No! Ah! No! Ah! Alright, round 2. Let's try this again. Get it over, nice and tight, just like that. Hold it, and you just start spinning. And you also have to pray a little. There's a little bit of praying involved. Oh! Let's try that again. No! Okay, we're gonna get it. Don't you worry, I'm gonna get it. Alright, let's try this again. Get it just like that, and just start spinning. Alright, so once you get it where you finally want it, just cut it. And hopefully I don't lose my place. There we go. You take this extra leather and you make a noose and you hang yourself with it once you're done with the first handle, because that's how I feel right now. Alright, and then you take this tab and you just loosen it just a little. Hard to see because my fingers are in the way. Tuck it right under like that, and you just start twisting. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Now we're going to add a screw so it doesn't come out of place. So drill a hole right where the leather crosses over. And put your screw in. Same thing on the other side, right where the leather crosses over. Alright, so we got both our screws in, and make sure the screws are in nice and tight, and those screws are going to stop it from unraveling. You definitely don't want this leather unraveling while you're using it. It's very annoying to get it on there, trust me. Alright, as you can see, I gave it a third leather grip. That grip will really help me, give me options. I want to hold it here, here, or here. So, I like the third grip. I just added it recently. So you can have two grips or a third grip. I recommend a third grip just for different hand options. Now we're going to give it a strength test on this log just to see how strong it is. I said I killed you in my last video. But now I see I have to finish the job again. Die, Junkman Woody. Junkman Woody, you got stronger. But not strong enough. This is my backyard. Ah! Yeah, this is a pretty strong weapon. So once you're done strength testing your sword or weapon, paint it. Don't paint it before you test it. Paint it after you test it, because you don't want to paint it and then have it damaged just so you can repaint it. So paint it very last. As you can see, it's nice and flat black. I covered the handle in plastic just so the paint wouldn't get on the wood handle. So that's something you should do after you're testing it. So as you can see, this weapon is pretty strong and well made. It killed Junkman Woody. I always kill him. This honestly would probably be a weapon of choice I would want in a zombie apocalypse. It's got good range. It's got good comfort. I can grab it here for short, Go here for long, grab for stability. I always like spears, and I'll probably make another spear sword in the future, maybe one that's a little more traditional. But this is a really good weapon. I do recommend that you make a weapon like this. And, well, this weapon did a lot of damage to this guy, or this dummy that's made out of wood. So, this is a weapon I strongly recommend that you have if the zombies ever take over. As always, guys, that's the end of this video. Please make sure you like the video, you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you follow me on Instagram and Reddit, and you follow me on my communities. I'm going to leave all the information at the end of the video. Thank you for watching.